Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, let's do a walk around and tour of a brand new, or in this case, new 2025 Subaru Outback. The Subaru Outback for many years has been one of the top choices when it comes on to buying wagons here in the United States, and as you can see, this one here is no different. For the 2025 model year, essentially, there are not really any changes to talk about, but of course, this is going to be the most basic model that you can buy in the trim lineup, and that includes, of course, the base model that you're looking at here, the premium, the limited, the wilderness, and the top of the line Onyx trim, which is going to be the most off-road capable trim that you can buy any Subaru in today. With that being said, though, this one here does have a few options on here, specifically the 7-inch dual screen setup in the vehicle, premium cloth seating, and of course that 2.5 liter Boxster flat 4-cylinder. With that being said, a huge thank you to Brandon Thomas Mitsubishi, which is a part of the Thomas Auto Group here in McKinney, Texas, for giving me some time with this one today. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started. As you can see, we are taking a look at our standard key. It has the Subaru stars on this side, followed by the buttons on this side, which consist of your lock, unlock, your trunk release, and your panic alarm. But anyway, starting off here in the front of the vehicle, we are going to be taking a look at your standard Subaru grille, which looks very nice on this one. Nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary, and as you can see, it does look pretty cool. Where it out a little bit is going to kind of give you that unique look that you would expect from a Subaru, and of course, we're taking a look at our fog lights down below. You do also have your standard LED daytime running lights with your halogen headlamps. Checking out your wheels and tires with this one, we are taking a look at a set of Yokohama Avid GTs, and these are on 17-inch tires measuring 225, 65 R17s all the way around. The exterior color of this one is finished off in cosmic blue metallic with a black premium cloth interior. Coming over to the door panels, you can see you're going to have some hard touch material right here, and you do have some soft material on this portion of the door panel. You do have some soft material down here as well. You have your standard door handle here, your controls here for your power windows, your power locks, your power windows, and then your child window lock right here. You have a very small storage pocket down at the bottom, followed by an area for a small cup holder. With that being the case, here's the key. Very nice. The Subaru Outback does come standard with a polyurethane rubberized steering wheel with controls here on the left as well as on the right sides. You also have paddle shifters on both the left as well as on the right sides as well. Left is on the house controls for things such as your seat track, your source, your information bar right here, your hands-free telephone controls here as well as your hands-free voice, and your volume controls here for the audio system. And to the right, we do have some safety features as well as our cruise control setup. Coming up here, we're taking a look at a standard gauge cluster, which consists of two main gauges. To the left, we have our tachometer as well as our coolant temperature, and to the right of our speedometer and our fuel gauge. Right in the middle is going to be our very small driver information center, which consists of our average fuel economy, miles to empty as far as range to the gas station, current speed, your gear selector, and then your odometer reading and your trip information. We can cycle through a couple of different things here within the small screen via the steering wheel, and they do include your lapse time and your average speed or miles since the vehicle was last using the auto stop start feature, and your fuel economy average for that, tire pressure monitoring system, audio, exterior temperature as well as the current time, average fuel economy, and your miles to empty once again. Now coming over here, this is my first time actually reviewing a Subaru product, so this is kind of interesting that in the base models you don't even get the 11.6-inch display. However, how I can tell is that if you were to just take this out, if you go to a premium or limited and just have this set up the way that it is, you have the 11.6-inch display. But what we're taking a look at in the standard model is a 7-inch dual screen setup, as you can see here. So with that said, you're going to have some stuff being controlled up here, and then everything else is going to be down here. So up here, we're going to be taking a look specifically at our audio system, which consists of our FM, AM, and Sirius XM radio. We do have our seat track here, select our channels here, and our presets right here. We do have For You categories, direct tune, as well as related stations to whatever it is that you're listening to. And the same thing can be said for FM and AM radio. You do have physical buttons down here, which consist of your radio, media, home, phone, and apps. Let's go to our home page. This is where we'll be going through a couple different things here, as you can see. And they include your apps, radio, settings, media, phone, display off, followed by valet mode and add shortcut. Starting off here on this side with our apps, we do have our Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay and Sirius XM Travel Link. We do have our radio, which is what we started out with from before. We do have our media, which consists of our USB, Bluetooth audio, as well as iPod/iPhone. We do have our phone, which is where you can pair a phone to the vehicle via the Bluetooth system. And then over here is your valet mode, which is where you can lock certain functions of the vehicle up. So that way a valet cannot access it. You will be the only one that can access and to enable and disable that feature. And of course, you can add a shortcut right there. And then coming up here to our settings, this right here is going to be a comprehensive list of different things you can enable, disable, change, and make it your own through a couple different categories, which include your general, your sound, your phone, as well as your radio. So starting off with our general settings, we have our clock, display, reminder screen, valet mode, our meter screen. We do have our camera, our climate control, our temperature units, language, tire pressure units, and all that stuff. And then you have things for like birthdays, anniversaries, and then system information at the very bottom. Come over to our sound. This is where we'll be able to adjust our audio or notification volume, as well as our beep, sound setting, and sound volume. You can also adjust for things such as our call volume, message volume, as well as voice volume. And then coming over to our phone, this is where you can manage devices, phone book and recent calls, messages, as well as your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto at the very bottom. So overall, not too bad, and it does give you a good amount of things to go through. And then you go over to your radio settings here, which consists, of course, of your FM, AM, and Sirius XM. Let's say I want to go to Sirius XM. You can contact them if you have any issues, subscription information, listening history, as well as listener settings. Let's say you want to go to our FM. You can save your bookmarks as well as radio settings for that as well. So overall, while it's not too, advanced like the 11.6-inch display, it does do a pretty good job of giving you the information that you definitely need. And so with that being said, let's focus more so on the bottom screen here, which does include our X mode for our all-wheel drive, vehicle control, driving assistance, more settings, as well as our auto start stop function. Let's go ahead and go to our X mode. You can turn that feature on or off, depending on the type of terrain that you're going to be going on. You do have your vehicle control here, which includes your vehicle dynamics, cruise control, acceleration, auto vehicle hold, as well as your steering responsive headlights. We do have our driving assistance features, which includes our lane departure and pre-collision braking system. We have more settings down here, which includes our warning volume adjustments, units, as well as our auto stop-start function. And then you can turn that auto stop-start function on or off. Coming over here, we have car settings, driving statistics, maintenance, auto vehicle hold, as well as vehicle dynamics control. Car settings here is going to consist of our eyesight assist monitor, keyless entry system, as well as our defogger. We also do have our auto light sensor, welcome lighting, our one-touch lane changer. We also have your rear seat reminder, vehicle dynamics control, which is basically their version of cruise control, auto vehicle hold. You have steering responsive headlights, as we talked about. We do have our warning volume and all that, as you can see down at the very bottom. And then coming to our driving statistics, that's going to give us information about our all-wheel drive as well as our pitch and roll information. And then maintenance, as far as when the vehicle needs to be serviced for these items here. And then, of course, you do have your vehicle dynamics control, which you can see there. And then last but not least, you have our climate controls for our fan speed, fan positioning, temperature adjustment, as well as to turn the AC function on and off. So overall, not too bad for a split screen setup here, and it does look pretty good overall. With that being said, before we move on to the next part of the tour, this vehicle does have a Lineartronic CVT transmission. You put it into reverse, you do have a pretty decent backup camera with guidance lines, and you do have markers that actually turn as you turn the wheel. So overall, not too bad. With that being said, coming on down here, we do have some physical buttons on the sides actually of this entire setup here. You have a volume knob and tuning knob. You have your hazard light button right there. Your front defrost here, as well as your defrost for the rear. You do have your temperature adjustments right there. Come below that, we have our electronic parking brake, a aux jack right here, as well as a USB port right there. You do have your CVT transmission here, as well as 2 cup holders. Come over to our glove compartment. You have a small top portion here, and then you have a bigger portion at the bottom with a outlet underneath, as you can see there. This one being the base model Outback, you're going to be getting premium cloth seating, which overall does feel very nice. And I have to say, I like the materials that they used in here because it doesn't really feel cheap. It actually feels kind of nice and kind of gives it that expensive feel without paying the expensive price for a Subaru, which is overall very good to see. Coming over here, we do have our glove box, and it's dampened, lined with felt, and you have a decent amount of storage space inside. You have this little storage area right on top of it. Some soft touch material with some more of that stitching, and then we have our hard touch plastic up here, although here's more hard touch, here's more of a soft touch plastic material. We do have our mirror here. We do have our headlights, or excuse me, our overhead light controls. We do have our sunglass holder here. We do have a visor with a mirror and your incandescent lights. And then as you come over here to our left side, we do have our gauge dimmer switches right there. And so overall, for a base model Outback, it doesn't seem that bad. So with that said, let's go ahead and continue the tour of the 2025 Subaru Outback base model. Coming into the back of the Outback, materials do fall through in this one, which is very nice. You're going to have 2 seat pockets, one right here and one right there. You have a little storage pocket right here. You have this little blank switch right here, which would actually be for your heated rear seats in upper trims. And you have a powered armrest with 2 cup holders. Coming to the back of the Outback, as you can see, you do have LED taillights standard, and they are clear. You do have your Subaru and symmetrical all-wheel drive badging right here, Subaru emblem there, as well as your Outback badging. And then all this right here is going to be completely rubberized, so if you do take this off-roading, really and truly, you should not really care if it gets dirty or not, because that's what it's meant to do. Coming inside of the cargo area of the Subaru Outback, this is where things get more impressive, because this is why a lot of people buy the Outback. You actually have space to use and utility to put stuff in. Now, as you can see, you're looking at about 32.6 cubic feet of space in here, which is not too bad for a vehicle of this size. Keep in mind, this is a wagon, so you are going to be able to fit a good amount of stuff in the back of this one. Then, of course, you do have these levers here that you can use, one on this side, as well as one on this side. And when you do that, you can fold the second row down, and they do fold completely flat. When you do so, cargo space will increase upwards of 75.6 cubic feet of space. So overall, very solid for a vehicle of this size, and does do a pretty nice job. Now, since we're back here, we do have our all-weather floor mats, we have our all-weather trunk mat, and then underneath here, we do have what looks to be our fix-a-flat kit and some other items. You do have black plastic mirror covers. Under the hood of the Subaru Outback, we're taking a look at Subaru's 2.5 liter Boxer engine, also known as a flat 4-cylinder. It produces around 182 horsepower and around 176 pound-feet of torque. It's going to be made to that Lineartronic CVT transmission, and this one is all-wheel drive. All right, guys, so back in the Subaru Outback, it's very impressive, surprisingly, for a base model. You do get a good amount of features in here as far as like convenience, as far as what you'll be using on the day-to-day. And overall, it's just a pretty neat and impressive wagon. Now, we are going to go through the window sticker, as this vehicle does have it. As you can see, everything on this side does come standard with the vehicle. And you do have your warranty down at the bottom. And then coming over to our options, we do have a few things. This one has a MSRP starting out at $28,895. We have the rear bumper cover for $168, the all-weather floor liners for $141, and the windshield sunshade, which is not in this vehicle, for $76. With destination delivery coming out at $1,395, the total suggested retail price for this vehicle when it was brand new was just a little over $30,600. Fuel economy for this vehicle comes in at 2630, 32 highway, and 28 combined. And this one gets an overall vehicle score of 5 out of 5 stars for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And with that being said, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this walk around and tour of the 2025 Subaru Outback base model, finished off here in Cosmic Blue Pearl with a black premium cloth interior. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the